I've got a guy who has done tens of millions of dollars in the online space, and he's going to teach us how to do something called tiny challenges. I'm really excited for this as a digital marketer. Tell me about this tiny challenge thing. Like, how did this get born?
It's a marketing vehicle where you get to run a challenge, like a traditional challenge, but it's done one-on-one. 5 calls over 5 consecutive days, about 45 minutes each.
Whoa.
That's it.
If you are in the coaching space, if you are selling courses, if you're trying to sell anything, I think that this is going to be an interesting way to go about it that not many people are doing.
Long story short, I mean, we've sold 600K offers since then and $1 million offer.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is your $1 million offer?
So,
I've got Richmond Den. What's up?
what's up, Ryan? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to learn about this. You know, I'm interviewing you, but I'm like, what the heck is a tiny challenge? That's good branding.
Oh, dude, it is great branding, isn't it? And the outcome after today is I think you're going to be sold and you're going to want to do something yourself.
Yeah. So,
That's what happened to Russell anyway, and even Myron.
I love it. So obviously I've had Russell on the podcast. I've had Myron on the podcast. And they all do challenges. They all do these different things, right? So before we get into what a tiny challenge actually is, like, what's your background for those who don't know?
Yeah, I came from optometrist background, the health industry. And I'm 42 now, so I was testing eyes one or two for 10 years.
Yep. You're Asian, so you still look young.
Yep. Well, yeah, exactly. You know how it is. Yeah. Yep. And so that was my background, health industry. And so I was in a job that I didn't love, but really, I don't think anyone wants to become an optometrist when they grow up. You know, I mean, who wants to become a dentist optometrist? I mean, I guess it's rare that you actually want to become that.
Yeah.
But the culture is.
You got to go to school, get a good job.
Yeah, live that life. And so I wanted to get out, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I just went on this mission of searching. And you search by getting a life coach, by going to personal development, by reading books and saying, what else is out there for me? And then I fell in the whole coaching space. That's how it started 8 years ago.
8 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2017?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
So did you just attend one of Russell's events or what happened?
No, Tony Robbins was a catalyst for all of that happening.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know Russell until probably 2 years in because he was affiliated with Tony Robbins, and that's how Expert Secrets got launched. And I was like, who's this Russell guy? And so I discovered Russell about 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just had Dean Graziosi in here. And so he was talking about everything they're doing in, Tony Robbins' world. And I mean, they've both been in it for like 30, 40 years in this space. So it's crazy. But I first got acquainted with Russell. Well, not acquainted. I didn't know him, but I first heard of him at 10X in 2018 when I was here.
Yes.
And he had his famous pitch that did like $3 million.
Yeah.
So I was one of the guys, and I was like, I don't even know what I just bought. That was great.
It was such a good pitch.
It was such a good pitch.
Yeah, we sold 600K offers since then and $1 million offer.
Wow.
Yeah. All in. And it's been insane.
What is your $1 million offer?
Yeah. When is this podcast getting released?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
Good. Okay. So this is,
You're like, I want to be a coach. I'm listening to Tony about being maybe a life coach.
Yep. That's it. That's how it started. Yeah. So first 2 years, I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know how to do content. Didn't even have social media. Didn't have Facebook. But I still made $500,000 in the first 2 years as a life coach, posting organic content 3 times a week.
Whoa. On Facebook?
On Facebook. And because I was still transitioning out of optometry, I was,
What is a life coach? I've never even really thought about this.
Oh, there's 100 ways to explain it.
Yeah, what is a life? Is it a therapist? Like, what do they do?
It's just, okay, this is my definition. Well, I'm not a life coach anymore. I basically help life coaches. This is what they say. Any problem you have right now that's going on in your life, then we can help you solve it. And so it's like a therapist. The only difference is a therapist looks back at your past. A life coach allows you to look towards your future and tells you your next step. So we don't really hang on to the past.
Now, do most life coaches just kind of focus on one specific problem or niche? Is that how it goes down?
Well, they should, but they don't.
Yeah, they're like, I can solve anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do marriage. I can do
health,
weight,
whatever,
everything.
Yeah, exactly. They should, but they don't. Yeah.
Got it. Did you have any specific niche that you worked on?
No. That's
you didn't. Yeah.
But then that's why people were so surprised on how I was actually getting clients, because my clients were a range of business owners, marriage problems, confidence in their corporate career and themselves, getting a promotion at a company. It ranged from anything and everything. Yeah. I just, that was the thing when I started.
Got it. So at what point did it transition into being really successful?
during COVID actually. So people were like, well, how are you getting clients as a life coach, and how are you doing it without ads, and how are you doing it just posting 3 times a week? And I was just doing it unconsciously, but when I started, it was all about building relationships and like genuine relationships, and just posting my life and what I'm doing, and like just marketing that way. I guess I became my own attractive character without knowing who what Russell was and all that kind of stuff. And people just want to be like people they want to aspire to be, like they want to be around people they like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did you do life coaching before you transition into, I guess, now
2 years.
like teaching life coaches how to market?
Yeah. 2 years. And now we have a training company as well. We, teach an NLP component and certify them too.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're certifying life coaches now too?
Yeah. We run an NLP department.
Okay, got it. And then tell me about this tiny challenge thing. Like, how did this get born?
So to market yourself as a beginner coach, whether you're a life coach, mindset coach, sales coach, whatever it is you are, you can use webinars, you can use group challenges, you can use podcasts, you can use events, workshops, all that kind of stuff. So many vehicles to get clients online. And the problem with those vehicles, especially when you're starting, is that, well, when you're starting, you don't even know your message, you don't know your offer, you don't know your niche, imposters kicking in, all those things that happen, and you don't have a list. And marketing an event is really overwhelming. Who's going to show up? How do I get people to show up? And so a tiny challenge is a marketing vehicle where you get to run a challenge, like a traditional challenge, but it's done one-on-one with you and another person. And that's it. One-on-one with you and another person, 5 calls over 5 consecutive days, about 45 minutes each.
Whoa.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a lot of one-on-one sessions.
It is. And remember, for the beginner, it removes all the overwhelm because you don't have to launch it. There's no start date. You can do it anytime. You don't have to worry about the tech. You don't have to worry about learning how to speak one-to-many. You don't have to learn how to sell one-to-many. There's no problem about filling up a room. You can have an extremely small list, but the reciprocity is so high that it converts like crazy. Like our students are converting 6, 7, 8, up to 9 out of the first 10 tiny challenges. And so if they were just running one a week and they got a $3,000 offer, and they did it 4 or 5 times a month, they could be making $10,000, $15,000 a month pretty easily from scratch.
Yeah. So explain to me how it works. Like, it's 45-minute sessions. Do they pay anything for this?
It can be free or it can be paid, but it's like a challenge can be free or paid. A webinar can be free or paid. A workshop can be free or paid. If you're starting out and you don't really have a brand, then I'd suggest do the free version.
Yeah.
Or just refundable $97, right? Get it back at the end of the 5 days.
Okay. And during the 5 days, like, what are you going on?
Yeah, you think of a specific outcome that, that's going to be a marketing hook or the angle. And then kind of like any challenge or masterclass or webinar, it's the same principle, but it's just done one-on-one. It removes all the stress and all the friction.
Okay. So why 5 days?
Yes,
that's a lot.
It's a good question. Like, why 5 over 3 or 4? Because in a tiny challenge, you do accountability, which means that every day you give homework and you need to hold them accountable to the homework. So they need to complete the homework every single day. And so they get this thing called progress. And people, when they appreciate progress, that's when they make a buying decision. It's like, wow, this is actually working. I can see it work for me. And then the sale is made. And you don't get much progress from having 3 days. And so you get more reciprocity, more progress. And so 5 days converts better. You're better off doing 1 5-day than 2 3 days. It'll convert better.
And do they have to be 5 consecutive days?
Ideally, but the flexibility in a tiny challenge, I mean, if the schedules don't line up, you could do those 5 calls over a period of 7 8 days. But the sooner you compress it, the better.
And then obviously, I guess at what point do you make the offer?
Yeah, on call 4 or 5.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you've given a lot of reciprocity.
Tons. It's crazy. Like a lot of times on call 3, they ask you, what's your offer? Because I've heard enough. I want to work with you long term. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I do this maybe like 2 or 3 times a year. Not this, but a similar thing where I say, hey, you know what? I'm opening up my calendar, 45-minute one-on-one call. And it's $1,000. And it always just like, I only hold it for 24 hours. I'm like, it's 24 hours. Whoever signs up, you literally book on my calendar the next 2 weeks and we'll fill the slots. And, I don't do it to like make front end money. I do it because it like finds really valuable people who could potentially be one-on-one people and everything else. Because like all of our normal programs are not one-on-one with me. Everything is with my team, with groups, they get one-on-one help, just not with me.
Yeah.
You know, and like we give them leads, we give them softwares and all this great stuff. But to work with me, it's 6 figures. And that's for the full year of just everything we're doing. And so like, surprisingly, that one call a lot of times gets the deal done.
Yeah, that one call.
But I'm thinking about it in context. I'm like, yeah, I probably, if you did 3 or 4 or 5, man, well, they'd probably be really incentivized to want to go deeper.
Yeah. Well, how many one-on-ones do you normally take? Because I've got a crazy model for you to scale that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're
honestly, I don't really like having a ton because maybe I have like 10 right now.
Yeah. And then you could probably sell VIP days and all that kind of stuff if you're doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So how you scale one-on-one coaching, the tiny challenge is, and this is what I do now for, I'll pick a person, I'll say, I'm going to work with you one-on-one for five days, 5 calls, 45 minutes each. I'll charge 5,000 for it. So it's like 1,000 a call anyway. But here's the thing. I sell shadow seats, meaning that I say, look, I'm going to coach you 5 calls, $5,000, super cheap. We're going to do one specific outcome on the caveat that you allow me to have people sit in the same Zoom room and watch me coach you one-on-one to help you get that transformation. And at the end of that, I'll break down into the room what I did, and then I'll allow them to ask questions. So they're going to get the benefit of seeing me coach one-on-one, and then they can apply it to their business. And so the last time we had 100 shadow seats, and then when you do your pitch.
Do you charge anything for those, or those are free?
Yeah, $97, yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then when you do your pitch, you're pitching to 100 people, not just one.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to pitch like a high ticket, you can do that. We sold a 25K off the back of that. And that was like extremely effective on how to scale one-on-one coaching.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's weird because each one-on-one guy or girl has totally different problems. So it's like I don't pitch. There's no qualifier. Like I'm not going to pitch like just, you should work one-on-one with me. It's like always, yeah, I think honestly you're good. Like I don't have anything to sell you. And then sometimes it's like, no, you really should be in our 1,000 a month or 2,500 a month thing. Like you're trying to do real estate. This is great. Oh, you want to, do this? Well, yeah, we're going to have to work one-on-one based on where your current business is at. And I don't take anyone that's not making at least 7 figures already for that because it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's interesting to sell seats to people watching.
Yeah, like imagine Russell's like, hey, I'm gonna help this person build out the perfect webinar, 5 calls over 5 days, and if you want to come in and same Zoom room and watch me do this, you can watch for $200, $500. It'll be like super valuable because you actually see how Russell thinks, the questions he asks, how it breaks down an offer, how it transitions to the close, and how it does a stack for that person. You're like, if you're in the same niche, like you can get so much value, and you don't have to pay $100,000 or $50,000.
Yeah.
But then the pitch goes to everyone.
So what do you do to qualify to make sure you're getting the right person?
Well, number one, charging qualifies, and the price you charge. But the people are coachable or not. You got to pick someone that's likable if you're going to allow that to happen. But usually the price point is the filter, and then you can go from there. When you do a one-on-one challenge, if you're charging for it, obviously I know you wouldn't take on a 100K client or a 6-figure client if you didn't like them. Or
for sure.
Yeah.
So you guys decide if you actually like them after.
Well, isn't it true? Like,
no, it is true. It is true.
Otherwise, it's not worth the money all the time. It's just
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so but it is an interesting way too, even to just get people for like not one-on-one, right? I mean, like I just think about how we teach wholesaling and stuff over a 3-day period or a 5-day period, and it's like, yeah, I mean, people watch together, but like, yeah, I guess if you're teaching one person one-on-one, it's just a different way to do a challenge.
It is, because I really believe the future of marketing is a demonstration of competency.
Right.
Because anyone can do a slick sales.
Yeah, you got your webinar and your slides.
And you
but
memorize.
Can you teach somebody with feedback?
Exactly. And when because everyone's now jaded, everyone's skeptical. This is just a choreograph, sales event or funnel, whatever it is. But when they see you coach someone one-on-one, they're like, wow, this person's really good at what they do. I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it sells so well, because you're demonstrating competency.
Do you think that slideshows and stuff go away?
Oh, now the market grows so big, I thought about that. We all know, like, people in the industry, how they don't really have a good reputation, but how are they still around? Because so many people flood the markets, like even in real estate. Like, real estate is such a big market, but it's just growing. It's just growing. The population grows every year, and you know what I mean? So I don't know if it'll go away from that point of view, because, the market outgrows it.
Yeah, that makes sense. How big do you think the market is for what you're selling?
With tiny challenges.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know if you know Rick Carruth.
Ricky Carruth, yep.
Yeah. So I met him at Myron's Mastermind.
I forgot. He texted me last week. He said, we need to talk this week. I wonder if it was about this.
It's about this. I gave him my book.
Okay.
He texted me a day after I finished reading it, ran his first tiny challenge, one-on-one.
Yeah. I'm sending him a picture.
Yeah, send him a message. He'll be like, what? Send me a voice clip only a couple of days ago. His first one sold a 25K offer.
Yeah.
Fair. That's good. That's what, for him, I wouldn't charge anything less.
Yeah.
He did his second one and sold his first 100K offer.
Wow.
His first one off the back of the tiny challenge. He just messaged me saying, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And because he never sold a 100K offer before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was that. So it works in real estate. This is where I think its biggest opportunity is the PT space, because you came from an athletic background.
Yep.
So personal trainers, their business model is give a free 30-minute session.
Yep.
And if you like it, then you might buy 10 sessions or whatever it is for $600. Imagine, like, they'll have to give away 10 sessions to get one client, right? A $600 client.
Right.
Imagine that personal trainer did a 5-day one-on-one challenge with you over 5 days, 30 minutes each. And at the end of it, they'll know everything about you, your fears, frustrations, what have you tried, where have you failed, what are you willing to do, what you're not willing to do, your goals, everything like that. The reciprocity will be so high. You got huge amounts of progress over 5 days, because you don't get progress from one personal training session.
Yeah.
They just do that twice a week, and they can sell a $2,000 program at the end of it. Easy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wonder if it's the trust thing or I wonder if it's the reciprocity more than the trust. Because, like, I would just feel, dude, if I just did 5 sessions with it, like, I have to buy.
Reciprocity works.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'd feel guilty not buying the thing, having worked with somebody for 5 days straight.
Exactly. Especially, like, that's the key. Like,
but it's easy to get out of it in a group setting.
Way easier. And so the commitment level for someone actually jumping in to a one-on-one challenge, they're already pre-committed, because they know, they know that they can't be lazy. They know they can't slack off. They can't just turn up on a Zoom call and have their camera off. They have to do the work, because it's one-on-one. And so the commitment level is a lot higher, and that's why the close rate is a lot higher too.
Is there anything else to know with it? Obviously, so you wrote this book. It just came out?
It's coming out in a couple of days' time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so by the time this launches, it'll be out.
100%.
Where will they get it?
tinychallengebook.com. tinychallengebook.com.
tinychallengebook.com. Cool.
Yeah.
I already got it, so I'm going to read it. So is there anything else that people should know about Tiny Challenges before they get the book and, check you out and everything?
It is like, so if you haven't made your first 100K online, you need to run this model, because, for example, filling up a webinar or filling up a group challenge, if you want to try to get 200 people registered, that's overwhelming for a startup.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and 200 people registered, 20 people show up, 10% show rate.
Yeah.
Half of them have their camera off.
Yep.
You need to learn speaking, selling, everything like that. You might close 1 or 2 people from that. And then if you bomb it, you've got to wait another cycle to start again. So imagine those 200 people. You don't even need 200 people to run a tiny challenge, but you only need like 3 or 4 a month. And it's so easy to get started. So I would highly suggest this is the first place to start for any person starting online. But as you scale, then you can run the shadow seat model and then do a paid tiny challenge and have people sitting in the room and watching you to scale through that. There's not much.
What was the second thing you said? Shadow seat?
Shadow seat.
Oh, the shadow seats.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, got it. So, are you doing tiny challenges to sell tiny challenges?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It sounds funny. Well, I sold my mastermind. I don't really sell tiny challenges much. I sell it through a webinar, right?
Right.
Because right now, it's such a new concept. But when I do, like at some point, I will run a tiny challenge and have shadow seats on it. I'll actually coach someone one-on-one over 5 days, demonstrate competency and have shadow seats. And then I'll sell, okay, if you want to learn how to do this for your business, then here's a course. Like that's going to be how it's done.
On your webinars, are you just, what is it, a 2-hour webinar where you're just selling?
Yeah. Typical Russell Brunson model.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't even know his typical model. Like, I mean,
I know.
It's funny because when I first bought his thing, this 2018, right? He's talking about the perfect webinar.
And he's got the linchpin.
Yeah. I watched Expert Secrets or I read it and I was like, okay, this makes sense. But like, then I remember I ran my first webinar and nothing happened. And I did it once and I quit. And I was like, yeah, this sucks. Like this education digital thing's fake. And then for 2 years, I didn't do anything for 2018, because I was flipping houses. I was making a ton of money.
Yeah.
So I just didn't care. Then, I mean, legitimately for years after that, even once I got good at digital marketing, well, I can't even say I got good at digital marketing. I got good at content. I just got good at making content, and that led to all this organic stuff. And then I didn't really become like a digital marketer until 2023.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a challenge? I don't know. That seems like a lot of work. Like I just didn't want to do any of it.
And then you did a webinar every week for a year or something.
And that was last year. In 2024, I just started doing webinars every day, or not every day, every week. And I was like, okay, I see like now 7 years later, like, okay, I see why people do this.
Yeah. And it's still working.
Well, the thing is, I think, and this is a good point, is you can get traffic to your business in many different ways, right? Like, so when people are like, is it a webinar? Is it the tiny challenge? Is it the workshop? Is it the social media content? I'm like, it can be any of them.
Yeah.
Like they all can work, right? Yeah. And, for me, I was just focused on content. So I never had to learn all these other things because content worked so good.
Yeah, exactly. And the key is to pick one. Yeah. And then master that, and then you can, branch out.
But I will say, I like the idea of this, especially for beginners.
100%.
Like it just, to me, it makes sense. It's like, if somebody is willing to work with you for 5 days, they're buying.
100%. And it's easy for the beginner too. Like, they don't have to worry about filling up a room.
Yeah. And their time isn't valuable yet. So
exactly. Yeah. And they have to trade because they don't have money. They have the time. So yeah.
But what do you think about guys at scale? Because it's like their time is very valuable. So like, I know you said Russell's doing one. Did Myron do one too?
Myron hasn't done one yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's close to doing it. I don't know how much he would charge, but Russell did it for $100,000. $100,000 tiny challenge.
So when he did 100,000, he charged somebody $100K for 5 sessions.
Yep. 5 sessions, 5-day challenge, one-on-one with him.
What did he sell?
He wanted to pitch a $250K offer, but then he ended up thinking, well, can't really be bothered anymore. So he was happy with $100,000. So
wow,
that was legit. He was going to pitch a $250K offer.
He was just like, it's all good.
Yeah, $100,000.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. And he did it twice. And but he could have pitched a $250K offer. He probably could have pitched a $1 million
at that
offer.
point, isn't it kind of like, it's like, you're going to get 5 sessions with me for $100,000. Like, that's kind of like, my time is worth $20,000 an hour.
Yep. We got 5 days. We're gonna smash out your challenge or your webinar and build it all out and get it converting. It's worth it.
Yeah. I just hired somebody to do our events, and it's $100K, an event consultant, and it's $100K, and it's more than 5 sessions. It's about, I want to say 12-ish sessions.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, that's what it is.
Yeah. And people love challenges though. Like if you're going to give, say, 12 sessions or 5 sessions over 5 months or over 5 weeks, and you can do it over 5 days in a format of a challenge, and it's framed like a challenge, people are like, oh, wow, I can do that. All I got to do is block off this week, get my mindset right for a challenge. I've got accountability. I've got progress. I've got homework. I've got things I need to do, and I'll just have it done in a week. And so you can promise the same outcome for the same price in a much shorter amount of time. It just compresses time. We're talking about Myron, it's not about how much time you give them. We just want the result faster.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think too, like, this is why I like webinars now and challenges now, even though I never did them really too much before. It's because it's like, if I can get them to understand how this business works quick, that's the goal. Because it's like, they could go on YouTube and like watch my stuff and search and find and watch endless amounts of content. It's all there, but it's like, dude, if I'm like, hey, these 3 days, just give me a few hours each day and we're going to knock this out. You're going to know everything you need to know about flipping and wholesaling. It's like, all right, that's way easier to do than searching endlessly.
Exactly. And they know the immediate next step. Yeah. But to your point, like there's so much great content out there for free, but they just don't know how to organize it. And then you pay
Well,
for
they get
organization.
analysis paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you have too much information, it's bad.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
You know what? One of my favorite quotes is from a pastor. His name's Craig Rochelle. He says that limitation is what fuels innovation. So when we choose to like add limitations to what we do, then it allows us to start thinking differently and how creative. So it's like, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, all right, you're saying one-on-one. And I'm like, okay, like how do you scale one-on-one as a challenge? That's crazy. But it's like, oh, well, we got the shadow seat thing. It's like, oh yeah, that's an innovation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that's a good idea because now the one-on-one guy is still getting everything they need. Now, granted, their business and stuff isn't private anymore, but like everyone else is getting to see that. And yeah, I just think about it all. Like even for me, over the years, it was always like, hey, just let them watch content. They'll come whenever they come. But now I'm like, no, if they come in today, how do we get them ready to go within a week? That's the limitation I'm forcing. I'm like, I want them to know everything about what we do within a week. Okay, so how do we just do that? And it's like, you're now asking yourself more difficult questions.
I love that. And that's how Tiny Challenge was born. It's like, how do we help someone make money fast online with the least amount of skill required? Because without them having to learn tech or speaking or one-to-many or anything else, and with the least amount of friction.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, obviously you have a mastermind. You've been in masterminds. You're in Russell's and Myron's and all these guys. What have you learned from each of these guys? I mean, I'm friends with all of them. They've all been on the show. We've hung out. So like, what has been some takeaways?
I just joined Myron's 350K mastermind.
Whoa.
Yeah. And in Australian dollars, it's 550K.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not like we're
so that's his private jet one, right?
Yeah, that's a private jet one. But outside, it's a private jet, but you get a VIP day and other stuff with that.
Yeah, no, I know. He was telling me about it on the show. He's like, I wanted to figure out the way to fly private. He's like, I don't fly public no more or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So you started a mastermind and got people to buy it. All right.
His Anyway offer is so good. I mean, the private jet came from an Anyway offer. He calls it an Anyway offer.
Yep.
Now, so you asked the question of, biggest lesson. When I dropped that, which was like by far the most I had invested, because Brussels is 50K for his inner circle and he's got 150K for his Atlas. And so the transformation.
You're in that too?
No, decided not to go Atlas because,
you just dropped 350.
Yeah. Exactly. It wasn't a price thing. It's more, I got more value.
You have a ton of stuff right now going on.
Yeah, exactly. And Myron's, the thing about Myron's is it wasn't really more time commitment. It was more, I guess, how do you say, just looking for those little tweaks that make all the difference.
Yeah.
And Myron's all about how do I give you the value without you having to spend more time on it. And so the transformation happened when I dropped the money. That was a value. When you spend that much and invest that much in yourself, you become a different person. And it's like, it's the ultimate level of congruency. And so you just feel different. You are different. And I said to Myron, I've only been here for like a week and I've already got my transformation, because when I dropped it, I just felt like a different person. But long story short, I mean, we've sold 600K offers since then and $1 million offer.
Wow.
Yeah. All in. And it's been insane.
What is your $1 million offer?
Yeah. When is this podcast getting released?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
Good. Okay. So this is, I've never mentioned this on a podcast, but we're getting all our ducks lined up in a row now. Got the trademarks. We got the domain, which is good. So we're launching the world's first speaking competition with $1 million cash prize. It's called Next Top Speaker.
Okay.
And so we got the nexttopspeaker.com and the trademarks. And so that is going to be, where they go to apply. It's kind of like X Factor. It's going to be like judges and, people in our industry who are great speakers are going to judge the panel. And so we secured $1 million sponsorship deal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So the winner's going to get $1 million.
Yep.
and they're going to just be a top speaker? Like what kind of speaker?
Yeah. So it could be in various niches, or, it could be real estate. It could be personal training, it could be health, could be coaching industry, it could be personal development, whatever it is. Like they're probably mostly going to be coaches and experts, because that's kind of the industry.
Can I compete?
Yeah, Russell wants to compete.
Yeah, I want to win $1 million. Freak, man. Like,
Russell's like, I want to compete.
Yeah, I'll compete right now.
Well, Russell's probably going to be a judge, so I don't think he's going to compete.
Yeah, well, good. I don't want to be a judge. I want the $1 million. I don't care about being a judge.
Yeah. So that was one of the things we're like, if we do this, we're going to have beginners trying to compete, and we're going to have people who already know how to speak. So how do we?
Like, I'm coming in.
You can come in. That'll be great. And plus the branding and the marketing and having the title there also just opens up so many doors for you. I won 20.
I am the top speaker of the world.
Of the world. That's 100%. Like that title there. So that's what we're launching in the next couple of months. We just had to get all our ducks lined in a row. And
so is it going to be on like YouTube or TV? Like, where's it going to be?
Yeah, we haven't figured it out whether it's going to be on YouTube, but most likely YouTube. And then we're going to build a studio. And then, the long-term plan is it's going to be a sellable asset to probably some reality kind of angle.
It's an IP play.
Yeah, totally.
Cardone had something like that he was doing at 10X.
Yeah, like a speaking comp or something like that. Yeah. And what happened there?
I have no idea. I have to ask him.
Yeah.
But I just remember maybe a few years ago, they were filming it live, like on stage at 10X.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was, but I think it was, maybe it was called, you know what his was though? It was a TV show, and it was the finale at 10X.
Right.
But I think it was called like America's Top Speaker or something.
Right.
Look into it. I don't know. I can't remember what it was.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I'll look into it. I wonder why it stopped or...
Well, I think he filmed it, but it, as you know, like if you're going to go pitch to TV and all this other stuff, it could take a long time to actually release it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So that's the goal. I mean, obviously the back end of that is a speaking course, $5K, and then ascend to the $25K. And, that's the back end model. So the front end model, we can probably self-liquidate from sponsorship deals and all that kind of stuff. But it's the back end, which is selling our courses and how to become a speaker.
Got it. So how many just different niches do you guys have? Because you're talking about, you got this tiny funnel thing, then you have the life coach thing, and then you have learn to speak.
Yeah. So our avatar is 0 to 100K. We help coaches get to the first 100K. That could be in any niche, whatever coach they are. If they have not made their first 100K yet, that's what we help them with through tiny challenges. And the speaking is it's going to be broader. It's just a broader category. I'm doing it with one of my business partners who's a speaking coach, and she's already crushing it in industry. So
got it.
Yeah, she's going to be running she's fulfilling most of it.
Got it. No, that's super cool. So with Myron, you learned, you just put a boatload of money down, and you're just like, all right, this is making me think different.
Yeah, like you said, limitation creates
innovation.
And so it was kind of like that, when you put that much down, and the first thing that goes through your mind is, how do I make this back? How do I make this back?
Yeah, I got to make this back today.
Yeah. And so there was no way we would have thought of $1 million offer if I didn't even put down, $350K. Like, there's no way. I would just...
Yeah, it forced you to think how to make it back.
Massively.
Yeah, when Myron was here, we were talking about throwaway offers or anyway offers or whatever it was called. Yeah, anyway offers. And I was telling him about this golf with me thing that I built, and it's done lots of money for fun.
Yeah, so play golf with you because you're playing golf anyway?
I'm playing anyways. He's like, oh yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
How much did you charge for that?
Well, I mean, at first, this is how it started. So this was like 3 years ago. I started golfing, and I was like, man, this is so fun. And I was just thinking when I was like, and it wasn't like arrogantly, but I was like, I bet you people would really want to come golf with me. Yeah. And I was like, because think about it. You could spend 5 hours with me just having fun, talking shop, in person, building a relationship. And I'm going to do it anyways. So it's not like it's actually time out of my day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't even know what anyone would pay for this. But I mean, I was like, man, but if someone I really wanted to learn from offered this, I'd pay a lot of money.
Have you ever tried auctioning these things?
I haven't tried auctioning it, but at first I was like, yeah, I would pay if back at that time, I was like, man, if like Grant or someone did that, like I'd pay tens of thousands of dollars to do that, right? And a lot of people would pay at those guys' levels like 100,000 plus, right?
Imagine playing golf with Trump. Like,
yeah, dude. Like I would pay a lot of money to golf with Trump, right?
Yeah, like I mean, wow.
So I was like, I don't know. Let's just test the waters, because whenever you're going to test something, I'm just like, I'd rather start low and just go up, because it sucks if you can't really go up and then drop. That looks bad. So I was like, I'm going to do like 2,000.
Yeah.
So I did 2,000.
You would have got hundreds of applications.
There was no app. It was just buy. So I just did one Instagram story. I was like, I don't know. I'm doing this thing. You guys can just buy it right here. It's $2,000. I kid you not. I sold like 30 of them in one store. I was like, oh,
from one story.
Yeah. I was like, dang, dude, there's a lot of people who want to do this. So like,
did you have 30 rounds?
Yeah, dude, my calendar was booked.
Wow.
So I had to raise the price because it was too cheap. And today it's like 10K.
Yeah.
And which is still, in my opinion, a great deal. And
just two people, or you have round 4?
Yeah, so they can bring them and another person, so them and a partner or whatever. I'll bring me and one other guy. And one thing that I started doing now that is actually like super valuable is I now bring my camera guy too.
Yeah.
So my camera guy comes, he films all the behind the scenes and stuff. So we always get good clips and all this stuff.
I saw the stuff you did with Myron on the course.
Yeah, like me and Myron do it.
Such great content.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
content. Like
we were gonna do that anyways.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever promote that offer because I don't know, it's just not super like scalable. Yeah. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
But
pays for all your golf and everything. Like
if anyone wants it, hit me up. Actually, I think the domain is golfwithryan.com. Golfwithryan.com. But like that's we were talking about that though, because so the reason that also started was I joined a country club and it was $100,000 initiation.
Yeah.
And I was like,
how do I make it back?
I'm gonna join regardless, but man, I'd really like to not pay this.
Yeah.
So then I did a little golf mastermind, 10 people, $10,000 a piece. And we played for a couple of days. It was awesome.
So
full
good.
days event.
How
Like
good
it
is
was great. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, I just joined this club for free. This was great.
So good. And you had fun. You loved it.
Oh, we loved it.
Yeah.
So, but to your point, right? When you force yourself to like do something different and new, you're like, as entrepreneurs, how do we
got to make it work? Got to make it work. It's just the mindset. Like, how do I make this work? How do I make this work?
Yeah. You see people do that too with cars, and Myron's doing it with the plane.
Yeah. It's such a smart offer. Like, I mean, now we're doing anyway offers too. Like, part of my 100K offer is the one thing that stopped me from doing 100K offers was the story that I had to give more one-on-one time. And then Myron got me out of that. So there's no one-on-one coaching, but it's more anyway. So when I travel, like, for FHL, brought 2 of my 100K students with me. We traveled together. And so, because I'm from Australia, it's 14 hours.
Yeah.
And so they get 14 hours with me on the plane anyway. But that's more than, like, if they get 1 hour a week or for 50 weeks, it's 50 hours. 14 hours there, 14 hours back, plus staying, together for 3 or 4 days. They're getting way more time.
Yeah, for sure.
That cost me less time or no time.
Yeah, you're doing it anyway.
Exactly.
You live in Australia, but it seems like you're here in the States a lot. For all these. I mean, this is where all this digital marketing stuff is.
90% of our students from America as well in the States. Yeah.
Why not move to the States?
Everyone asks that. Our kids, that's one thing, but
how many kids you got?
3.
How old are they?
9, 7, 4.
Okay, got it.
Kennedy, Regan, Carter.
Okay, got it.
They're the names.
I have 3, 4th on the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Boys, girls?
Yeah, 2 boys and a girl. I don't know what the 4th's going to be.
Keeping a surprise.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. You have a preference?
To me, it's all gravy because I already got one of each, right?
Yeah.
So like, 2 and 2 would be cool because then like you're proportionate. But I'd also wouldn't mind another boy either. Like I'm good either way. But like I think my optimal preference is 3 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Cool.
So either way, like I want to have 5. So like this one is kind of like it's an anyway child. Like this one can be whatever because it's the next one that's going to dictate like me having an opinion.
Yeah, that's right. And anyway child, why not?
Yep. But actually, you know what? If I had to give you a true preference, I would say a girl. Just because we'd have 2 and 2. Because what I wouldn't want is 4 boys and 1 girl.
My mom had 4 boys, and
yeah. I mean, I'd be happy either way, but like my preference would be if I get a girl now, then I'm guaranteed either 3 boys and 2 girls or 3 girls and 2 boys. And I would rather like have that out, like that be the potential outcomes versus, okay, we got 3 boys and 1 girl. We might end up with
4 boys,
4 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you get 4 boys together,
Oh yeah,
nothing good happens.
riffraff, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's your plan now, like for growing your business? I mean, obviously you're doing this TV show, this $1 million thing. You are, you know, you've got this new challenge model that you're pushing. I mean, do you have a goal of like, man, do we want to get to doing 10 million plus a year, or 20 million plus a year? Like, what is your vision?
I believe Tiny Challenge is at least $250 million a year.
$250 million.
Yeah, 250 million. Because when you think about it, it's the first starting point of every person or coach and expert who wants to make money online. Like it's even before running a webinar. It's even before running a group challenge. It's before.
Yeah, this needs no digital expertise.
No, it doesn't. And so you think how big the industry is, and it's just the coaching industry.
Coaching. Yeah.
It's huge. And if that becomes the first step of every person in industry,
yeah,
how big is that? Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
But it has to, because it's the least friction. It's the easiest, simplest way to get started.
Yeah, so you're really just going to target all the beginners with this.
100%. Yeah. Yep. Every beginner, there's no reason why they cannot do it. But every other model, there's 100 reasons why they can't do it. And that's true, because they need skills to do it.
Building a webinar is hard. Building
a group challenge is hard.
They're all hard.
Workshop is hard. Like, one-day event is hard. Like, all those things are so much harder. One-on-one, 5-day challenge, 45-minute course. Anyone can do that, and they can get started now. Like, it's so, we really believe it can hit multiple 9 figures from this model in just this one industry, and then you can cross over to other industries as well.
I'm just curious how you think about, all right, so like, let's just say you're right? The total addressable market is, 9 figures.
Yeah.
How do you go about selling to that many people? What would your plan be? How many different funnels and variations do you think you'll need?
Well, it's kind of like leadership, right? And you have a lot of people on your team.
Yeah.
It's selling, not me selling it, but selling it to industry leaders and influencers. Say, well, your next step is to do a tiny challenge, and well, obviously Russell and Myron and Pedro, like, they were like, when you're starting out, do a tiny challenge. Or do a tiny challenge. And if Tony Robbins gets onto it, and it's like, when you're starting out, if you haven't made 100K or even 10K, do a tiny challenge. So if they're all saying that, then that's kind of the marketing done for you, right? So
yeah, I'm just wondering at scale, what would you suggest I do if I was to do it? I don't know. I don't want to say at scale, but like, do you charge like Russell, and just like the front end is great no matter what happens? And then obviously there's a back end. That's got to be the only way to do it for like somebody who's already established.
For sure. Correct. Yeah. For someone who's already established, do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I kind of already do that, but I don't do 5 days. It's just like one day.
Yeah.
This is it.
Because you got a personal brand.
Yeah.
Your personal brand's so strong. And for people who don't have a personal brand,
right.
You
have to build trust and credibility through this next 5 days.
Totally. Yeah. And personal branding is where it's at, but it takes time, and you got to do the work, and you've done a lot of work to get to where you are right now. So
yeah.
So
where do you see the coaching space going in general? Like, do you think that
it's interesting you ask?
Where because as information, I've thought about this a lot. Like, information's becoming less and less valuable.
You're right, 100% right. And Russell was talking about this, yesterday actually, about anticipation and where the market's going, particularly with AI. I dare say, if you're a beginner coach, ChatGPT can outcoach you.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And why would someone buy your $2,000 course when ChatGPT can outcoach you because you're just a beginner?
Yeah.
And so and it comes a point where why buy a tiny challenge course when I can just chat GPT on how to do a tiny challenge? I can probably do that.
Yep.
And so where's the market going? It comes down to personal branding. And
Really, that's
Yeah.
that's the conclusion.
that's the conclusion. Number one, personal branding, and also being a person who has access. So people will pay for access and over like knowledge. And so because knowledge is going to be free, it's going to be easy. It's going
That's
to
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the way that we thought about education over the last bunch of years as being the information, the knowledge. I'm like,
yeah.
people don't pay for that.
Especially not now. It becomes easy to get. And so access and personal branding, that's the key. And selling experiences like, golfing days with you, jets, like people just want that.
Yeah.
And if you've got a strong brand and you've got access, then that's what you can do.
So what would you say? Because I don't disagree with you. I had Ty Lopez in here a couple of months ago, and he was talking about
He's coming back strong, hey? Like he's just going hard
he's talking
now.
about like personal brands important and
Yeah.
AI and all these things. And yeah, I mean, I've thought about a lot of these things, and I'm like, why would somebody want to join my coaching today, right? Like there's so much content out there and everything else and all that. And it's like, I only see 3 reasons. You hit on one of them, is that nothing will ever replace like the experience of something, right? I mean, that's why families go into debt to go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw the stat that like over half of Coachella was financed.
Wow.
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, dude, they bought like it was like 60% of Coachella tickets were sold on buy now, pay later.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
That's probably increasing too, right?
Yeah, and it's like, that makes sense. These people are not in good financial positions, but they're willing to do it for the experience. Like that experience is so important to them that they'll do it. And so I think that experience are one thing. So it's like, if you're really good at throwing events,
Yeah.
there will always be a place for gatherings.
Yeah.
So like we're really good at that. We do golf, we do massive events, both in the business space, the Christian space. We do Mexico trips every year. Like we do cool stuff. So I do think that that's going to be a thing. I think the second is services. So I'm thinking less about the information and more about the services that are required to implement the information. And so I think Russell was very ahead of that with ClickFunnels. He's like, hey, I'm going to tell you how to do this, but you need this thing in order to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so
Kind of what Dan Mattel does, like, just best way to scale is through software or tech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I can give people the things that they're going to need. Okay, so in real estate, what do you need? Well, you're going to need leads. I'm going to give you leads. You're going to need a CRM. I'm going to give you the CRM. You're going to need funding for your deals. I'll give you the funding. I'm going to give you everything you need. I'm going to monetize every part of the transaction. And you know what? Basically, I'll just give you the information for free. I'll give you the coaching for free, because if you can do deals, you're going to need more leads. You're going to need more fun. You're going to need more of the services that you're going to have to pay for regardless in any transaction. So I'm really believing that services are something that's the future, because those will never go away. They have to happen regardless. And so if I make my education free and I'm making money on services.
And that whole business model, I mean, the valuation of that kind of
it's
model.
It's recurring.
Yeah, it's huge. Like it could be like 20 to 30 EBITDA.
Yeah. So I'm betting on that for my own business.
Yeah.
And then I think the third thing, so I said experiences, services. I do think that I agree with what you said about access. So it's like every single person you mentioned, I'm pretty good friends with all of them.
Yeah.
And it's like being able to access all of them, like literally right now, this very moment. You name anybody up there. Ricky actually texted me back, just by the way. I heard you sold 100K, dude, because I did. He said, that's my boy. So
he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, he is. So, and now he's a golfer too. Him and Myron. But he's like, it's like being able to have access to anybody is really, really valuable. And so like, in turn, if you can have access to other people, it then helps everyone else that has access to you.
Yeah.
And so I think being I don't know the best way to say this, but like just we know it's true. Having connections, essentially,
It's everything.
and call that personal brand, because they kind of go hand in hand. If you have a personal brand, it gives you access, it gives you connections, it gives you things that no one else really gets to have. Then it's just it's like, man, if I can aggregate everyone's information, if I'm talking to Russell and Myron and Dan and all these guys, and I'm hearing all these different things, I can be an aggregator of information and start to think about things very differently.
Totally.
So I don't know. That's kind of what I think.
I agree.
I think social media is interesting. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, number of subscribers doesn't really matter too much these days anymore anyway. You should have 1 million followers and then, only get like 5,000 views on a video. You know what I mean? It's all based on attention marketing. It's a good question. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think. So I've been doing it for 5+ years now. And obviously it's been very good to me. It's gotten me in great rooms. It's gotten me, great things for my business, all the things we're talking about. And I think that what you said and what Tyus said of like, having a brand is a super valuable thing, because in the future it's like, you can go out to the market and kind of like sell anything. It just is what it is, right? Because people know, like, and trust you. And, in the end, right, is everything going to work out? No, that's not the case in any business, right? I've had plenty of things that haven't worked out, but I've had a lot that have. And either way, I think transparency is like what continues to build trust, the wins and the losses. But I'm grateful I made the decision, because now I'm at a point where I'm not like so concerned about like just growing it massively. I want it to be better. So that's not like what I'm saying. But what I am saying is like, it's reached a point where it's like, it's kind of diminishing returns to put a lot more focus on it, because I've kind of reached a point where it's like, great, like I have access and enough recognition to like, if I run an ad, people kind of probably recognize. So working so hard to get more organic views isn't like the best use of my time. But now I look at like somebody who's just getting started, who's even great, who doesn't have like a big following. And I'm like, man, dude, it is competitive to try and break through today is so hard compared to 3 years ago. And obviously 5 years ago was even better, right?
Exactly. It's probably why I did well 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
like nobody was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook Lives was a totally brand new thing.
Yeah.
I started when Facebook Lives just came out. And so my lives got a lot of views.
Yeah. Now
I had no following.
It's so hard. And it's like, I don't say it to discourage anyone. I just say it as the truth. It's like the way I see it going now and going forward is I used to think social media was like the new version of Hollywood, where it's like democratized. Anyone can get in. Talent will prevail. You don't have to, go through all these circles to get famous and be known. You could put on a camera right now today and get famous and be known. And that was true. We saw it with all these TikTok stars. We saw it with entrepreneurs. We saw it with entertainers. And like it basically made it so that anyone could be known. But I see it becoming more commercialized and Hollywoodized. And the reason I say that is because it's now like the standard to break through is like pro level.
Yeah.
That didn't used to be the case. Before it was like, oh yeah, you can like actually turn on the camera.
You can't afford
to
put out bad content anymore.
No, you have to be legit to stand out.
And then you got to have all the bells and whistles of the,
everything. Well, and you have to have the track record. Like, why am I going to listen to this guy? What's he done?
Everything.
Because I can go listen to other people who have way better content, who have accomplished way more.
Yep.
And I only have so many hours in the day, so I would rather listen to them.
Yeah. Have you thought like if you started all over from now, like today's market?
It'd be so friggin' hard.
Yeah. What's your first step to make your first 100,000? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm running a tiny challenge.
That's it. Market, get 1 view, 1 like. That's enough. Right?
No, but for real, right? But it depends on your goals, right? So it's like if my goal was I need to make money right now today, then I would probably do something like a tiny challenge.
Yeah.
If my goal was, hey, like I actually have money and resource to put out content and try to like really build this? Because we know that long-term wise, brand wise, like it pays if you can make it work.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, dude, Instagram is super competitive. TikTok's not what it used to be. There's lots of podcasts now. Like, you got to break through the noise.
Yep.
And it's not discouraging. It's just like, I think you reverse engineer what your goal is. So it's like, is my goal to make 100K? If that's the case, you don't need a brand.
Yeah, no, you're right. You don't need a brand.
You could just do this. So it's like, if you're spending all this time to try and build your brand and break through the noise when you aren't even making money, it's like, bro, nobody's going to listen to you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're trying to build a brand. You're thinking that's going to sell a product that you've never even sold. Like, none of it makes any logical sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I would never do that. But then again, you know, this is the other hard part. And I've seen this. Let's say you're a very successful business person. You're like, well, dude, I want to make content. I want to create my brand. Like, I want people to know me because I'm very experienced. Dude, I've met billionaires who are doing this, who have asked to be on the show. They have no social following or anything, right? They're not good on camera. They're not entertaining. But obviously, they've killed it.
Yeah.
Right? And I look at billionaires an extreme example, but I look at somebody who's even made $10 million, whatever, right? And it's like, they're going to have to go learn a whole new skill set to go try and make it in this world. When the reality is they're probably just better off
just doubling down on that.
Doing their thing.
Exactly.
Because it's like, what's the point of doing this? Are you doing it because you want to grow your business? Well, you'd be better off just doing what you do.
Kind of like your first webinar. It's like, well, I'm already doing well.
Yeah, that was the point. It's like, and it was the right choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was the right choice. I'm just going to stay doing what I'm doing. This is like a headache, right? This is a distraction. So it becomes hard for people to break through who are ultra successful too, because those people don't have to do it.
Yeah.
They're already good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where does the new talent come from? Because newbies aren't going to break through in I'm talking business space specifically.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to listen to anybody who hasn't done anything like on social media. Now, if you're going to go be a life coach and like help somebody, like that's a different story. But I'm just saying, like, consuming content wise, it's hard to listen to somebody new. But on the other hand, these super experienced guys who are doing way more money than these online influencers, it's like, well, your content sucks. Nobody wants to listen to you. So, and by the way, it's probably not even worth your time to make this. So like, I'm thinking, where does the blood come from? It's like, has to be this in between of like somebody who's done well, but somebody who hasn't done so well.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh yeah, no, it actually is worth my time.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So, it's kind of like the disparity between rich and poor. It's going to be a disparity between like competent and not competent, right? In the space, it's going to stretch really big.
Yeah, because I mean, you just see people who are like not making money. They're like, well, I think that, dude, if I had a brand, I'd make money. That's what everyone says. And I'm like, yeah, you would, but you've done nothing to earn having a brand. Like,
they need to go back to step number one and become somewhat successful.
Right.
Like that's
and get into that middle ground of
that's it. Like, you know, if they're doing health or relationship, they just spend the next 2 or 3 years becoming successful or even more successful at that thing. And then you'll be successful as a coach. Like, I mean, that's what I think. Yeah.
No
one wants to do that though. Like, you know, they just want to take the shortcut.
Yeah, I think the path would be, by the way, guys, I get nothing for doing this, just so everyone knows. But like, I think the path would be doing something like this, doing a tiny challenge for those who are listening, doing it just over and over again, whatever the method is, a webinar, a challenge, whatever.
You get good fast.
Sell a ton of stuff for your business, grow your business resume, work with a lot of clients, get a lot of testimonials, do this for years. And then you look up and it's like, oh yeah, no, I have a 7-figure business. Like, here's what I did. Here's how, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, let's listen to what you did. Like, that's cool. You actually have track record now.
Yep. 100%. And that's kind of like what happened when I was a life coach. It's like, well, I did really well. I wasn't even trying to sell it, but you know, I just did really well. And then people were like, how did you do well? So I was in that kind of middle ground, like you said.
That's where I think that like most people are. Because even too, here's what I've noticed as well, is a lot of people come in on the middle ground. And I would say that was me too. I was in the middle ground where it was absolutely worth doing social media. I'm not, you know, I wasn't 100 millionaire or billionaire or anything, right? So it was absolutely worth it. And But I've noticed that there's been people who like joined in the middle ground a decade ago. A guy like Patrick Bet-David, for instance. You know, when he first started doing social media 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I mean, he wasn't like all that, you know, like he had just like, I don't even know if he had just started his brokerage or anything, but like he definitely was not like killing it.
Yeah.
Social media definitely enhanced his ability to go recruit agents, scale it, everything else. And then he has a big, massive exit, you know, a decade later because of social media.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like, you know, I can see for myself anyways, like a path of like using it to become one of the guys
Yeah. Yeah.
that, you know, we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then once you have that and you're a guy like Patrick, where you're now in politics and you're influencing
Massively.
in those ways now, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I could see how this path works.
That's where attention's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. You know, as we kind of wrap up here, what are your thoughts on just like coaching in general, like with what coaches need to do to be successful? Because there's a lot of people watching this who are, you know, brand new coaches, or they, you know, maybe they're real estate guys who want to start coaching, or other guys. Like, what do they need to be like? What don't they know? Because people just think you print money because you just sell.
What they
sell
don't know
stuff.
is what most people don't tell them. It's like, metaphorically speaking, like their breath stinks. You know, it's like, you know, just go work on yourself. You know, work hard on yourself. And when I say that, I don't mean like, you know, your mindset and stuff. I mean like get actual results in your own life, and do that, because most brand new coaches out there, like you would never ever want to buy from them, but no one's going to tell them that. So you go work hard on yourself, whether it's in your relationship, your health, and all that. Like my first coach, Scott, said, the world does not need another fat, broke, divorced life coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, and there's too many brand new fat, broke, divorced life coaches.
Wow.
And so I guess when I was a life coach, I wasn't fat, I wasn't broke, I wasn't divorced. You know what I mean? Like
And thus you were successful.
yeah, well, yeah, you know, I had strong values, a person of integrity, all that kind of stuff. So really work hard on yourself. I'm not saying to be perfect, but work hard on yourself. And if it means spending 2 or 3 years doing that and getting your stuff in order, you know, then go out there and start, because that's the beginning. There's so many broken people getting into this space because they think it's easy, but it's not. So the easy path is the hard path.
And it goes back to what I was just saying for like a lot of these newer people, or people who have had temporary, or, you know, I don't know, just recent success. It's like, dude, still nobody wants to listen to you.
Yeah.
Like, your track record is what makes people want to listen to you.
Yeah. And I say, like, you know, what first 100 testimonials is you. Like, you are worth more than 100 testimonials. Like,
Oh yeah. I should look at you and be like, yeah,
yep.
I would like to, I would believe, or whatever, you know, if I want a fitness coach, if I look at you, I better be like, dude, like, yeah, I would like your physique.
Yeah. Like, what's that guy, Ashton Hall? You seen his stuff?
Yeah.
He's
killing it.
Yeah, he's killing it.
That
He's
dude
getting
is
so many
jacked.
people-
I would buy whatever he's selling.
100%. Yeah. That Saratoga water. Like, I want to try that now. Like, whatever he's drinking.
That'll get me to 10 million followers. I'm down. I'll dunk my head and put a banana on my face. Like, whatever.
I don't know if that works. You think that's
His skin looks good. I would do it. Who knows? I literally thought that's like a thought in my mind. And this is
of
how
course,
people
because
think.
he's got the result.
Yeah, I go, he's putting a banana on his face. I've never heard of that. But his skin looks really good. Like, maybe there's something to it. I haven't Googled why he does that or anything, but like, because he has good results, I would consider.
And you haven't seen
doing
a
it.
testimonial of his. Because
No.
he is a testimonial, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's why, so work on yourself. Like, you are worth over 100 testimonials. And you become your biggest testimonial, you'll never worry about clients again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So where can people get access to you, you know, if they want to work with you, learn to do one of these challenges? Where do they go?
A Tiny Challenge book is a place to start, like tinychallengebook.com, tinychallengebook.com. That's where you can actually get the copy of the book, and that's how you can get started. Otherwise, you can look me up, Richmond Din, pretty easy to find. But the first place is just
Learn this concept, read the book.
Learn it, make your first $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, like just and thank me later for it. Like, I mean, you will make money.
I mean,
so
this book
easily.
is thick. So my guess is like, whether they buy something else from you or not, they'll have enough to run it. There's a lot in here.
There's scripts in there. It's frameworks. It keeps the course tight. Like the problem is if you are running it without a framework and you're a beginner, those calls could blow out to 2 hours long because they don't know how to keep the course tight.
Right.
And so at least follow the framework so you can actually save time by keeping the course tight, you know?
Yeah. Yep. And then that way it leaves people also like, okay, we're going to cover that tomorrow. Like,
exactly.
It keeps the intrigue and the desire.
Totally. And, you know, respect your time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, guys, tinychallengebook.com. Go check it out. Go follow Richmond. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.